G'day.
How are you?
Am I
Uh,
here? Oh, I was going to say, there's no one here.
Coming in.
Hello.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hello.
Cool. Sorry, just opening up the records quickly before we start. Hello, hi Kerry, how are you? Lon can't make it, that's fine. I haven't had Candace said that she was going to come today. She's been moving house or moving states. States. How are you all going anyway? Good?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Good, good. Weird energy lately. I don't know if you guys have been noticing that. Just this weird energy that's kind of.
Yeah.
Is it just me?
I mean, it's like it's there's always something, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely feels. Cool. Well, I'll just wait. Oh, here's Brooke. Hey, Brooke. Hello, how are you? Come in. Come on. May have Candace. Um, cool. Let's get started. Candice might all hop in, but we'll just get started and she can come in and join us. Have you guys had a chance to like open up your records a little bit here and there? No, no, yes.
Yes, yeah. I've been doing it every day.
Oh, fantastic. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Like every now and again, like I kind of forget, but most days.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool. So like on the days where I haven't like really been asking questions,
Yeah.
I've been sort of getting like training lessons kind of thing. So
Oh, cool.
like just showing me stuff and like what I can do and like where you can go and what you can see and stuff like that. So
Amazing.
getting like
Amazing.
information, but yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Mhm.
And even if it's just opening the records and just doing
Yeah.
at home can be really supportive as well. Or like it doesn't necessarily you need to like plan out a time or anything, but it's just like, hey, could be something like multitasking if you want to as well. So it doesn't necessarily need to be, okay, I need to sit down, open up my records and have the space to do it. Like, you can open up the records and, go for a walk or something instead of listening to the podcast, just have your records open.
Yeah.
I know Candace. Hi, Candace. How are you?
Good.
How's the move been?
It's actually been very transformative. I had a really beautiful experience in Sedona, which I won't even get the details, but it was not on our radar to stop there. Like all the things aligned, and I couldn't even have planned where we ended up. So it was between that experience, that really like shifted my energy in so many ways and helped so many things. And then we stopped at a waterfall. So like the move itself has been very transformational for me. We are still unpacking all the things because our stuff just got here yesterday, but it feels really good. So I've been, yes, taking it all in.
Oh, good, good. Can't wait to hear more about it as well. But I was just been thinking, like Candace, like you go for your runs and everything, and I know that like that would be a really good, opportunity to kind of, open up your records. It'd be yeah, I'm just trying to think of like, other ways that you could incorporate working with your records that doesn't necessarily need you to kind of carve out a specific amount of time. Like you can layer it like, with your work, or you can layer it, with, some walking or whatever. Like it doesn't necessarily need to kind of be that way. So just trying to get you to think
I'm
outside the box around it.
Yeah, like I'm excited because so moving here, it's a lot darker for a lot longer in the morning. So
Oh.
I can't do I can't go at 4 a.m. because there's no lights out here where there were lights where we were before. And the universe was just guiding me to, switch things up and have my meditation and journaling in the morning and then go do my activities. So I'm kind of excited to play with that a little bit. We're finally stationary, so I haven't had just a ton of time with the transition, but I have like I said, I've been doing my daily practice of connecting in and just a little bit. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
Yeah, amazing. And yeah, it can just be a little bit, be 5 minutes, you know, even just tuning to the frequency is so supportive and so healing. And you can just set the intention of like, hey, I'm just going to open up my records and just, you know, receive a healing, you know, in whatever I need at this point in time. And so the more that we kind of like open up that field and open up that channel, the more that you start to get used to that frequency and being in that space as well. And yeah, like you know, and then you can obviously go more exploring in different, you know, aspects of the Akasha field as well, depending on what your soul is contracted to see and not see and be part of and not be part of. Like it's a very interesting space to kind of explore as well. So I know, Brooke, you were kind of like, no, I haven't opened anything. Like, even if it's just like, yeah, if you have an opportunity to just open it every now and then, just to kind of attune yourself. You don't have to go into it with a question or anything as well. It's really, you know, I'm here just to receive, and that can be really supportive in your system too.
Got it all nicely laminated.
Sorry,
I've got it nicely laminated, ready to do. But
I love that. I love
life
that.
has just been manic at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to get you to laminate mine because I've got like this folder and it's like I just keep, yeah, it's like one of those clear sleeve folders, and it's like the page is just like wrinkly and ready to okay, well, let's go and I'll start the cool. Awesome. So this week's all about clearing the stuff that kind of gets in the way of you accessing their records and accessing your magic and your soul and your gifts. You're already intuitive. You all are, and you know that. But sometimes, you know, the signal does get fuzzy, right? Like you want to connect, you want to drop in, you want to receive clearly, but there's just this static. There's like, you know, the mental loops, the emotional heaviness, or just that kind of like, I don't know, that icky kind of weird tension in the body that really makes it hard to kind of fully open up. So this week we're not going to like push or force anything. We're just going to get curious. We're going to like start to gently peel back some of the layers and look at what's really kind of sitting underneath those moments where you're like, oh, I just don't know if I'm doing it right. Yeah, so it's really about clearing some of the space so that your soul's voice and your soul aspect of you connecting to the records can kind of rise up again and be really clear and be really calm. And so today we're going to move through 5 really common blocks that show up for like really sensitive, intuitive women like us. And I'll guide you through a practice to help you release what's not serving your connection as well. So as we move through each of them, just take note of which one really starts to resonate with you, and you can we'll work on that one today individually. Yeah, the whole idea is that I want you to start to kind of connect and hear the records more easily, more confidently, and with less of that kind of noise as well. So I just want to again just put the group code in here. It's really interesting as I was kind of like bringing this up. I felt this such a beautiful frequency that arrives with us each time, and I just want to say, like, as we open the space today, I just want to invite this code just to come in fully into the field, to sit with us, to support us. Because every time I kind of tune into this this code, like I feel the group's presence really deeply. And it's like, it's really interesting. I keep getting this visual of like one of us anchors the energy each week. It doesn't feel like it's me sometimes. So I'm like, oh, that's curious. Like, that's interesting about a group dynamic. And together we kind of rotate and weave and really hold the field in ways that we may not actually kind of see, but we can feel it. So I just want to say thank you for just bringing your essence into this space. You know, whether you're here live, whether you're watching the replays, either way, you're always felt every single time. And I just want you to know that it matters and you matter. And, you know, having you part of this space is really, really sacred and really special. So I just want you to all feel that and know that in your hearts. Right, so last week we connected with your guides and we anchored into the earth grid. So the reason why we did that is so that your channel can have a really solid foundation to receive and hold that information and that energy. So we started to kind of build a relationship with the land and tuning into like your unique support team as well. And this week we're kind of, what I mentioned is that we're going to get into the stuff that kind of gets in the way. So we're going to clear some of the big blocks. That's like making your channel a bit maybe disconnected or fuzzy at times. So yeah, I'm really excited for what's coming through today. So it's really interesting as I was kind of putting this together and I was sitting in the Akashic Records, I kept getting shown this picture, this one here, and I was like, oh, okay, you're showing me the Tao. What's the significance of the Tao? So this is a really ancient concept called the Tao. So it's pronounced D-O-W, Tao. And basically what it means is the way. So as in like the natural rhythm or flow of life. Like you can think of it like, you know, the way a river moves, the way trees grow, the way that seasons shift naturally without any force, like it just happens. And so the Tao is all about living in harmony with nature and the universe instead of kind of constantly resisting it or pushing against it. And it sounds really simple, right? But most of us, thanks to thousands and thousands of years of programming and ancestry and all the things, we're not living that way. Like we've been taught to kind of push, we've been taught to analyze, to overthink, to control, to doubt. And which is basically the energetic opposite of the Tao. So what does this all have to do with like the Akashic Records? That's the question I asked, and they said, look, it has everything to do with it. Because when you're accessing the records, you're tuning into a subtle high frequency field. And so it's not a place you force your way in. It's more like this soft kind of opening and a gentle remembering. But if you're carrying a lot of emotional heaviness, you might be stuck in your head. You might be constantly like doubting yourself, or your body might feel out of whack. Your connection does get fuzzy and blocked, and it just doesn't land properly. And so that's where the Tao comes in. And so the Tao says that we're made of three things. So we're made of heaven. So this is like your higher self, your potential, your soul, your spirit, your intuition. And then it's made of the earth. So the earth is your body, your environment, like your daily life, all the physical stuff, right? And then you've got the man, so you. So you are the bridge, like you stand in the middle and feel it all. So being human is literally about balancing heaven and earth and receiving from both, receiving from both and letting the energy move through you in a way that supports your soul. And the picture of a tree is such a good analogy. And so I popped it in over here because when we think of like a tree and just the natural way the tree operates, like it takes sunlight and air from above and that's the heaven concept. And then it takes the water and the minerals from the roots, and so that's the earth concept. And then it does a kind of magic inside. It's called what we call photosynthesis, and it turns all of that into energy. And so the tree doesn't try to force it. It doesn't overthink the process. It just receives, processes, and it grows naturally. And that's what we're meant to do. So when we're aligned and we're like that tree, we open to the light, to the Akashic records. We're rooted in earth, and we're allowing that energy to flow in both directions. So we allow to be that conduit. So we're that, like that essential kind of channel, that conduit. And when we're not aligned, what happens is, you know, we might be kind of like disconnected from our roots, you know, or we shut off from the light, and boom, like that's where all the blocks start to happen. So, and that's why we did what we did last week, was that we wanted to establish our grid here and the land, and really make sure that the root system can grow deep and strong underneath, so you can continue to rise and meet the Akashic records and that light and that field, and from a different space. So in terms of the blocks, right, I was talking about like if we kind of disconnect from our roots and we shut off part of the light or something. In the Tao terms, like blocks means going against the way. And that's what happens when you try to control the outcome, when you ignore your body's needs, when you stay in like emotional loops, you might even doubt like your inner voice as well. I know some people even outsource, like they like consider outsourcing their power, like going outside of themselves. Or some people like absorb other people's energies, and that's about energetic boundaries, but like you carry the energy that's not even yours. And all of that, like staying stuck in those emotional kind of density, when you're doubting that inner voice, when you're trying to control the outcome, all of that goes against like your natural flow. And so it's like trying to swim upstream in a river that really wants you to carry you forward. And, you know, the records, they want to speak to you, and your intuition wants to guide you in there. But if you're actually feeling energetically cluttered or disconnected, the signal just doesn't come through clearly. And so the remedy here is to return to the flow. And that's the magic of understanding the Tao in your Akashic practice. It's not about doing more. It's just about softening into like who you already are, letting your channel open up gently, and letting your mind and body and spirit come into that harmony. Does anyone have any questions around that concept at all? I know it's very esoteric, but the Tao is an interesting one. Like I thought it might have been a religion or something, but it's not. Like it's just this concept of heaven and earth and man in between. So let's kind of talk about some of the blocks to accessing the Akashic records. The main one that I keep seeing over and over, I had it when I first came in as well. It was self-doubt and second guessing everything that was coming through. Like I kept kind of going, am I making this up? Like what information am I actually pulling through? And this is just like one of the common blocks, especially when you start. And please know, if you're having these, we'll work on this today. Because what happens is the ego mind tries to analyze or validate the experience too quickly. And when we allow our mind to take over, it takes us out of that channel, it takes us out of harmony. And that creates what we call contraction in the channel, and that weakens that flow that we're naturally wanting to arise. And you know, a really simple way to work with this is to receive first and then interpret it later. Like always trust that first impression that comes through, because as we know, the records often will speak in symbols, in sensations, before they start to become really clear. So that's why I'm saying, like, sometimes just jotting things down, putting them down, and then allow your mind to start to maybe even connect. But it's so important that your heart frequency and your heart is open when you receive, because you're always going to have the ego mind coming in, because it's unnatural, it's uncomfortable, and it's not something that you've been taught. It's a new skill. And when you're learning new skills, we want to keep safe. Like, we don't want to push ourselves against the grain, or up against the edge, because we don't know what that is. But when you actually have a really solid process and foundation of opening up the Akashic records, your body does become safe. It does become regulated, so it can like open it up. So you just need to keep reminding your mind, this is safe, this is okay, and I've got a process to work through. And so sometimes, even when I go into the Akashic records, I will have my mind will come in and it'll drop in and be like, this is going on this day and blah, blah, blah. And I'll go into all these stories. And you know what? I'm like, mind, I love you, I appreciate you, and I know what you're here to do, but at the moment I need you to like step to the side. And I actually then visualize like kind of like wrapping my mind up and just putting it in the corner, in the back corner for now, so I can allow my heart frequency to emanate and the information to flow through. And that has helped significantly with that, the mind trying to come in and control and keep you safe, because it's just doing what it's naturally supposed to do, and that's okay. But we have control, and we have spiritual will, as well. So we need to honor, the reasons why we're opening up the Akashic records, and let the mind know. It's almost like having a little conversation in your mind, being like, hey, I know you're here, I know you want to come in, and you want to like keep me safe, I see you, I feel you, but at the moment I just need you to step aside and just kind of like move over here for a moment, just while I focus on here, and I'll come back to you. And generally that part of you is like more than happy to do that. So yeah. Anyone have been getting like a bit of self-doubt and second guessing, like, am I making this up? Is it coming through? Yeah. Yeah. So we'll go on to the next one. This is, again, kind of like, this is a kind of reason why I brought in the Tao concept. It's about forcing instead of like allowing. We always think that we need to get something really profound. And, we try so hard to get the right answer. And what that does is it creates so much tension. There's a story where I got an Akashic record reading from my mentor, and he started talking about this scene in Ireland, and it was on a cliff, and there was like this maiden kind of walking, and you know what, it didn't make any sense to me. But the more he started to share, like a whole past life memory like came flooding in. And I love the fact that he was saying, I was just showing you what I was seeing, what was coming through, and allowing that kind of that scene to start to kind of take form in your heart frequency. And for me, I was just like, this doesn't make sense. And I had so much resistance of it like coming through, because I was like, I wanted the big answer. I wanted the answer straight away, but it needed to come through in a different avenue. Again, like what we think we want, it always comes through in a different way. The records, they're such a receptive field. And when we start to try and like grab onto things and pull them down, it blocks that flow. And so when we just allow things just to drop into our field and come in, and we just take note of it, it creates that channel, it creates that trust in the body, and it's able to land. When we do start to pull, because I know when I started, I was like, oh, I've got this information, I know this, and the mind's coming in, I'm pulling it in. It completely disconnects you from the frequency, and you then start to put what you think needs to happen, and that's not how it works. And it's such a, like, going back to remember the first week we were talking about the big surrender. It's like, oh, this huge big surrender. I've just got to release that of trying to hold on to something really tight, and expect that I know the answers, because the answers never come in the way that we initially think. And hell, if they did, like, we wouldn't be in the Akashic records. There's no magic or surprise or beauty in it as well. So, you know, surrendering to the outcome, to, you know, the one shift that we can do here in this block is to like be the vessel, not the seeker. And one question I always used to go in and ask was, well, what's really aligned for me to receive right now? What do I need to know? And that, again, I'm not trying to force anything. I'm not putting any expectations on anything. I'm just allowing the information to, like, the records to show me what I need to work through. Fantastic. And it always lands in such a way that's just like, it does feel profound, even though it's not like aha moments, like fireworks. It's still like, oh, okay, yeah, I need that to happen in my world right now. So yeah, so sometimes we can force, and when we force, it kind of and you know, it's such a natural thing for us to like control things. Like, it's such a part of our nature to want to understand and have control over that, and to deeply surrender, like the big surrender. It's such a process. I would say process. They're not saying process. I don't like the word process. My inner child doesn't like the word process at the moment. It's, you know, it's a opportunity to find out more by allowing the energy to flow. Does anyone kind of like feel like they sometimes are forcing things in the Akashic records? Does that feel, yeah, resonant for some? Yeah. So again, just take note of which ones like are really resonating with you. Even just jotting a few things down, like on the bigger, we'll do it a bit later, but just as we're kind of moving through them. The other thing I find is the energetic interference, or what I'm finding is that you might have like you might be ungrounded. So something's really shaking you up in your world, and you're feeling really dysregulated in the system. So that can start to like create a channel that is quite distorted. And I find that when I speak to or I clean up, or I speak to other people that have like clean up their energetic kind of hygiene by grounding, by turning off their phones and actually taking their phones out of their bedroom, taking the tech out of their nightly routine. What that starts to do is allow the body just to start to, because it's always processing at the time, and when we're like putting so much stimulation into it, it's still processing. And so that's why we're not getting proper sleep and everything. And so that creates a lot of static in the channel, and the body's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's clearing all that, but if you can actually intentionally and consciously help it, it can really help as well. So yeah, when we kind of go into the records, when we feel depleted or emotionally dysregulated, it can lead to, yeah, a lot of mixed messages, and you don't really get the clarity. So I find that sometimes, you know, help a way to kind of like, you know, deal with this and shift this is to really anchor the body before you enter. And so that's why I was really, especially as you kind of like build your foundation in the Akashic records, calling in the elements and the directions to really anchor yourself. Even some simple breath work is really, really supportive. I use the 5-5-5 technique. So breathe in for 5, hold for 5, release for 5. And I do that 5 times. And there's something that just happens in the body that just goes, and it just drops. Your breath is like, you know, we think of the hierarchy of like our body, right? So air, we can't live without air for a couple minutes. We can't live without water for a few days. And we can't live without food for maybe a few weeks, right? So when we look at the hierarchy of like our needs as a human body, when we can start to bring air at, you know, as a priority for our regulation of our body, it supports us so much. Does anyone do like really like intense breath work sessions? Like anyone really into that? Yeah. Grounding foods is also really supportive. I find, and I'm happy to share, like I've got a alkagizer smoothie, like it's like a green smoothie that I have. So when we're eating a lot of foods, like protein, if we're eating chicken and fish and all of those things, and a lot of like protein rich foods, it creates a lot of acidity in our body, and it doesn't have the opportunity to find the harmony. We need to alkagize it, and so we need the alkaline in our body to find that harmony. So we need something to come in to power it up, because the acidity actually draws the energy out of your body. So if you've got like a high protein diet, then that can imbalance your system as well. So even considering having like a green smoothie, and it could just be of like just the really rich green fibrous bitter foods. So kale, spinach, celery, avocado, and like zip that all up and create like an alkagizer, and that can start to create harmony in it. And that's very grounding. It's very bitter. Like we don't eat enough bitter foods in our diet. It's very sugar orientated and high in sugar, so we need to have more bitter. And again, it's just the harmony in the body as well. Yeah, and even like setting up your sacred space would be really beneficial. You know, doing your protection practices makes a massive difference as well. I probably found this block a little bit later on in my practice in Akashic Records. It's just kind of when I got a bit lazy, and it was like, and then I was like, hold on, I need to tend to my body a little bit more and honor it, because, you know, when we look at that Tao thing, like we are the channel, we're the bridge between heaven and earth, and we need to kind of ensure that that channel is well tended to, because it's what we do have control over. The other one is kind of similar to the previous one, number 2, but I felt like it was quite different, because there's this over attachment to the question or outcome. And so we set the intention that we want to find out more information about maybe why, you know, some family relationship isn't, you know, you're not connected, or there's a big disconnect in the family or something. And then we're like, but I really want to have it my way. I really want to have it answered in a way that puts me as the, you know, the hero in the journey. And when we have this attachment to the outcome, and that I need it to go a certain way, it really affects the message, and you really stop the growth of the opportunity for you to actually do the work and understand it from a different perspective. Because once you're able to understand that maybe part of that was something that you created, and it's being mirrored back to you as a reflection, that you can take some sort of ownership and sovereignty within that situation as well. So, and when you start to work with clients, and they're deeply attached to what the answer should be, that also filters the message as well. So a lot of that fear will cloud the reading, and it puts a charge on you as the reader. And again, we want to get back to that neutral reality. And so even if information does come in, we need to receive it with love, with reverence, and we need to move through it as well. So one way to kind of like combat this or shift it is to ask really clean, open questions, and to release that expectation. And when we start to remind ourselves that like truth serves the soul, not the ego, it can really support your soul evolution. Because remember, we're working in the Akashic Records, that is soul information. So it's information about your soul, past, present, future. So you're here in this body having this experience with a part of your soul that's wanting to evolve and grow. And so I mean, we have ego, mind and expectations of how we should be in this reality and what, you know, how we need to present ourselves and all that. But at the essence of it, like, we're here to find out more information about our soul and shift and grow. And when we don't do that, and we don't acknowledge that, then we become stagnant, and that doesn't help your body, that doesn't help anyone, and doesn't help your soul, and doesn't help the reason why you're here. And it's so interesting that I had this reading with a an older, I was like, she was, gosh, she was late 50s. And the Akashic records kept showing me that it must be, I don't know if anyone's in like does astrology, but it was around, they were kind of showing me around the age of 56, that if your soul hasn't started to like really evolve and grow and be on purpose, that the soul actually feels like it's not wasted its time, but it's like, oh, kind of done, I just want to go. And so I don't know what that, it must be some astrological things. 56 8, really, don't even know, but is that 8 divided by 8? 7, so it's 7, so 7 8 56. Yeah, okay. Sorry, it was a while ago, but it's coming through. But so yeah, it was part of like her soul was just like, if you don't start to do something by the time you're around about that age, then the soul's like, what are we doing? Like, let's go, let's start again. And we'll start again and do it in a different body, in a different lifetime. Which I find that really interesting because, you know, there's so many people that I think once that information dropped in, I was just like, oh, that's really interesting. And like, oh yeah, that, like, people in my field or in my family are like, oh yeah, they're not really kind of doing like much work. They're kind of like same old, and just feels like they're tapping out, and then all these like other mental health issues are happening in their body and everything. So yeah, I found that really intriguing. So yeah, there's a definite desire for your soul to grow and expand. And when we start to kind of have this attachment to something outside of ourselves to make ourselves feel better, then we're not in an alignment with how the Akasha field wants to work and how your soul wants to evolve and grow as well. And so the fifth one is more aligned to people that want to maybe read for others. I found this very early in my reading too. Trying to be right instead of being present, like, because it comes in symbols and weird analogies. And like, for instance, I have to share this with you. It's pretty cool, actually. Like when I was in a lady's records, it was really beautiful. Like she was led to a table, and she had her 4 guides behind her. Then she had like it was like a council that were kind of sitting in front of her. And in the middle of the table was like 5 gold coins, like put in the north, south, east, west, and the one in the middle. But on top of that was a heart organ. And I was like, oh, do I say this to her? I hope this makes sense to her. And I was like, oh shit, like I'm gonna have to do it. So look, this is what's coming through. And you know what? The most beautiful thing came out from it. And I'm so glad it happened, because I've just known to trust and just go with it. She said that she was reading something, she saw that reminds me of tarot cards, and it reminds me of the Isis guide. But she was saying that there was this reading that this passage that she read, that if the weight of the heart was equal to the feather of truth, that your spirit had done what it needed to do in this lifetime. And I was like, oh, whoa. So I just want to share that, like, even though it didn't make any sense to me at all, when I did share it with her, she was able to then put her story and her understanding over the top of it. And so it's when you're reading for other people, we'll go into that like in a couple of weeks' time, but it's a layered approach as well. So it's very collaborative. So the need to sound accurate or the need to say something that feels like it's smart or right or anything, that's when you start to shift into like, oh, I'm a reader, and you go into performative kind of mode instead of just intuitively listening and just allowing things to kind of drop in as well. One shift that you can do if that's kind of comes up for you, that I found really helpful, was to really stay connected to the field, not the person's reaction. And trust that whatever is actually coming through is actually arriving for a reason, even if it doesn't land immediately. You know, that vision that the past life, or the vision that my mentor gave me about this lady in Ireland and on the cliff, I'm like, doesn't make sense to me. But then all this like past life stuff came through and was like, oh, okay, right. So yeah, there's this, again, possibly the ego part of us wanting to be right and wanting to make sense and wanting to connect the dots and everything like that. And I notice in readings that sometimes I can't even connect the dots until the very, very end. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. It comes back around. So yeah, that's just another block that you might also kind of come up against. So I want to kind of check in before we kind of do a bit of a clearing. The clearing is going to probably take about 20 minutes or so, and then we can kind of talk about a few other things after. So before we kind of dive into this clearing meditation, I really just want to give you like a few moments just to reflect and check in with where you are right now. Like where you may have started to feel maybe disconnected from that clarity that you're really wanting to seek from the Akashic records, or when that noise in your head kind of gets a little louder than your intuition. So yeah, and you know, it's from stress, sometimes it's from life, sometimes it's just from like old patterns that like creep in when we're about to expand as well. Like I find that is a huge one. It's like, oh, this pattern wants to come up to the surface as I'm like growing and evolving. So I just want you to take a few minutes here, just maybe even grab pen and paper and just sit quietly with yourself and just reflect on these kind of 3 questions, like, you know, when do I usually lose connection to my clarity? Or even if you haven't been opening up your records, that's dropping in, like, what's stopping me from, you know, dedicating my time to accessing the records? And when I think of like, where do I most often like lose connection to my clarity? Like think about the moments when you start to like second guess yourself or feel really foggy, or even like what's kind of going on around you at that time as well. Yeah, and even consider like what habits or energies am I ready to kind of shift so I can stay attuned to the Akashic records. Like what feels like it's not helping me anymore? Like, are there any kind of like maybe behaviors or people or even thoughts that pull you out of alignment? And also to consider like, well, what helps me actually feel calm, clear and open and receptive? Does nature work for you? Does drinking tea, moving your body, pulling a card, like what brings you back to you as well? And there's no right answers. It's just you tuning in and being really honest with yourself. And we'll just take a few minutes here with these and then we'll move into the meditation. But yeah, your system will already be in a more open, receptive place to receive what's next. So Did anything come up for anyone that was like, oh, that's really interesting? Oh, yeah, I'm ready to release this. Any blocks that people really resonated with that they want to share?
I'm just finding that I'm avoiding meditating at the moment. I'm doing like finding every other possible thing to do before I get there. And then it's too late or it's too not convenient and the kids are home and it's just, I don't know. There's something, I feel like I'm almost like at a precipice and there's something blocking me from moving forward.
Yeah. And do you find that when you do your meditation that you're opening up your Akashic records, or is that just
I am a bit. I found I was a bit blocked last week.
Yeah.
I had a crazy week, so I was trying to do stuff in the car because my daughter was at like a sports carnival thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need to go back and do it all again, if you know what I mean, because it was just blocked. Nothing was coming through. So I just feel like I need to do it again. And I thought, okay, today's going to be the start of getting back on track.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like if meditating just doesn't feel like your body wants to do sit down and meditate, is there anything that you find that you have done previously that helps your body kind of sit in that space from
yeah, I was just thinking I need to get out in nature more. I need to walk.
Yeah.
And then often if even just going and having like a Epsom salt bath tends to relax me and just get me in a better frame of mind. And then eating better, obviously, healthier habits help.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's just this loop of I don't know, like I start putting a lot of pressure on myself, and then if I don't do it, it's this like guilt, and then it's just another thing to tick off on the day that you're supposed to do, rather than something that you sort of enjoying and looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, if it feels like it's a to-do list and it's got a tick thing, like it can feel very structured and very masculine and be like, oh,
yeah.
I remember I used to have like a what was that called? Habit tracker thing. Great, fantastic. Got me into like new habits and everything.
Yeah.
And I think after maybe a couple of months, I was like, I'm already doing those now naturally. So it really kind of, and now I can just release that habit tracker and like ticking things off. But you're right, like it can feel like that forced energy. And sometimes your body just needs a bit of nature and needs a bit of nourishment. It needs a bit of, love a good Epsom salt bath, right? Just to kind of like allow the skin to absorb the magnesium, just to allow it just to, settle as well. Breath work, I find, and I talk about breath work, but I also talk specifically about Kundalini yoga, something that I really started off when I was doing Akashic Records, and I've actually kind of circled back with that. And Kundalini yoga is all about the breath and doing like, short little kriyas about breathing, keeping your breath back and releasing. And part of it is like doing a root lock, so the energy then just flows from the root up to the top. And I find meditation after that has been really helpful as well. So I don't know if there's some sort of like, again, coming back to your breath and supporting maybe some sort of breath work to kind of allow the system to regulate. And it doesn't have to be much, like it can be like, it doesn't, because I think I do maybe 10 minutes of Kundalini yoga and meditation. I'm just there. So I wonder if like even honoring like, a bit of nature, a bit of walking, maybe incorporating some sort of breath work as well, just to allow your body, and just asking what your body actually needs too. It just might just be, the nervous system might just be at a point where it's just like, if you drop anything in at the moment, I just wouldn't be able to hold that. So, and it might be at that capacity, but the more that you kind of like have those like little body breaks where you're kind of out in nature, where you're having those Epsom salt baths and all that, it's just nourishing your body and it's starting to like down regulate over time too. Yeah. Anyone else want to share anything that maybe came up or anything that from their blocks that they want to work on today. You don't have to, just before we getting on, sometimes voicing things
I
helps.
have something similar, like not so much the things, the major blocks, because I think I'm pretty good at like working through them. You know, since starting my like journey with learning Reiki and all of that kind of stuff, it kind of like I'm pretty good at it. And I feel like I'm getting better. With all of that, and just allowing and trusting, and you know, not like second guess, like I mean obviously like second guess every now and again. You kind of like, you see a client, you're like, should I really say, like you say, should I say that? And then you're like, okay, you have to say it, so say it. You know, things like that. But I think for me, what came up for me was just like alkalizing the body. When you said that, I feel like I really need to do that. Something that came up in my records was like, they told me that I was going to have 3 days of like really good sleep and then 3 days of detoxing. And it was like, it sounds really gross, but it was just like I had like in a dream that like poo was just coming out. Like, out of me, like it was just getting pulled out, and it was like a really strange, it was like a really strange dream. So anyway,
Body energetically detoxing.
yes, but it's like I could feel it, like I could really feel this like thickness just coming, like it felt that in my dream, like it was really strange. So I know that I need to like do more like alkalizing the body, more movement and more like getting out in nature, because that's something that I don't know, just like the same as what Kerry said, that it's just one of those things. I kind of like think that I'm going to do it and then I don't do it, and then I know how good I feel after doing it, but I just don't do it. So
yeah. Okay, great. So we're kind of going the intention of clearing that for you today, and it'll be interesting to see how you guys feel after today. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else want to share anything that's coming through, moving through from the little check-in?
I'm happy to share something. I think I struggle when I'm not in the group to do it, because when I do readings, I have a process to get into that place.
Yeah.
And so even though I have laminated the little prayer and do that myself, I feel like I need something more to before that or after, either way. So just then I was sitting there asking what would that process be, so that's different and it's not the same to just speak with spirit.
Yeah.
So I just saw what I was to do. Do you want me to share that in case that helps someone else?
That'd be great.
So okay, this is a completely different process than what I would normally do if I was doing a reading. So I was told to sit and see like a garden gate closed off, and then I use the key to unlock the gate into the garden that leads into the Akashic records. And then I allow and wait for all my guides to arrive and sit, and I just breathe and relax and connect as they come in, and then let them, and then in brackets I wrote the Akashic Light Council, so I knew what I was talking about, to surround the outside of that. So like where, and the guides and that came up last week are all sitting in there, and then they're surrounding, and then start, and then also remembering to breathe, stay grounded, and no need to rush.
Beautiful.
Because when I do it here in my room, I've only had one experience where I actually got something. I just felt like I was maybe trying too hard or waiting for something profound or loud or something. So I could relate to all of the 5 blocks. I was doing all of those. But having a process helps me to see that there's something that I'm doing to get into that I need to do on top of the prayer.
Right. Yeah. And that's what, and I love that. I love the fact that you're going into a garden. So you're actually going out into nature. You're using your breath to ground your energy. And you're inviting them in. So you're inviting them into that space that feels safe. And that's why I said at the beginning, like, this is my practice and this is how it works for me. And this is such a good foundation for you all to use. But I want you to use it maybe for the first 30 days. But after that, I want you to start to like look at these ways that you can start to infuse your specific needs, you know, in the connection. So I love that. Thank you for sharing, because I think it, gives the group, also an opportunity to.
Someone else might like the key vibe. It was a really big wooden door with an old key and it was
Well,
very pretty to open.
Carrie, you have a key, your key, which is actually part of the group code that unlocks and takes you in. That from
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The picture that I drew ended up being the key to the door to the Akashic records.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
yeah, so which is great. So like we're learning and understanding from the foundational point, and then I'm like you're adding your layers on top of that, which is
And I didn't get that when I sat last week trying to do it.
yeah. Gotcha.
So it's that I'm in this space with this energy that I think it's flown so well.
Yeah, nice. Fantastic. Okay. I'm going to try something really technical here, so bear with me if it doesn't work, but I'm going to try and put some music on in the background. So I invite you just to get yourself comfortable as you can. If you want to lie down, you can. We'll go for about 15-20 minutes, but we'll go in, and it's interesting. We're actually not going to go into the records, they're saying, because so at the beginning of each call, I actually open up the Akashic records of the Akashic past, but they're saying specifically we're not going to open up your personal ones because we're already in this container. So I'm just going to be guiding you. And so technically we're already in the Akashic records. But yeah, we're not actually going to open that up specifically today. And I'll just take you through it. So
Sorry, are we doing a meditation now?
yes.
Okay, do you mind if I just like sit down on a more comfortable chair so
Absolutely.
you won't see me?
Absolutely.
But I hear everything.
Good. Yeah, I just want
Yeah.
you to feel comfortable. So
Yeah.
don't feel like you have to be on camera. You can
All right.
lie down and do whatever you need. Um, so yeah, we're going to work on gently, obviously identifying and dissolving a lot of that energetic blocks that have been or will prevent you from accessing the Akashic records with a lot of depth and what you actually want. I want you to feel more connected to your psychic abilities, your intuitive guidance, and help you kind of anchor into these higher frequencies and move beyond that 3D kind of noise. So it doesn't feel like a traditional meditation when it kind of dropped in. So you don't need to kind of like drop into a specific brainwave state. So it's just kind of the clearing when it dropped in is just designed to kind of meet you exactly where you are. And all I ask is that you just be present with me, listen with openness, and trust whatever shows up without forcing or fixing. So as I mentioned, we're not going to open the Akashic records in this moment. We're simply going to connect with your subconscious and unconscious minds and gently reveal what wants to be seen and lovingly dissolve what no longer serves. So if you're able to close your eyes, do so. And hopefully you can hear the music. That's not what I wanted. Sorry. That's it. Can you hear that? So yes. Can you hear anyone hear that? Coming through. Kind of. Okay. So let's just begin by bringing your attention to your breath. And there's just no need to change it, just notice it. The simple rhythm of your body, breathing itself. Even when your mind is distracted, your body, it knows how to care for you. I want you to know that you're being held. Now, I want you to think about the moment when you try to connect to the records, to the spiritual field, and you feel blocked. I invite you to bring up that feeling ever so gently, and only if it's there. Maybe it's frustration. Maybe it's discouragement. Or just that feeling of trying and still not getting through. I want you to invite that feeling to come up and move through your body. I want you to conjure up that feeling. However it feels, just bringing that up. Now I invite you to give this block a shape. Don't overthink it. Just allow the shape to form. What shape does it feel like to you? Again, we're just inviting your subconscious mind to share with you what's already in there. You're not making it up. You're just letting the subconscious mind show you. What shape does this energy take? Might feel like a tight circle, a jagged scribble, a heavy square, or a shapeless blob. Whatever it is, let it rise. And now see if this block has a color. Does it have any textures? Is it dark, dull, or sharp? Does it feel smooth, sticky, or rough? And now let's ask your subconscious mind if there are any words attached to this feeling of being blocked. Allowing the words just to come in to your field and just notice and witness. Maybe it's a phrase, belief like, I can't trust myself. I don't know how. Maybe I'm not clear enough. Now let's ask your subconscious mind, where did this feeling of being blocked first come in? Where did this block first begin? You don't need to analyze it, just receive whatever memory or feeling comes up and honor it. Just go with the first thing that comes to you. Don't worry if it's actually accurate or not. Just honor it. Okay, now I want you to shift your attention just a little bit to the feeling that you would like to have in place of this block. Tune in to how you want to feel instead. Maybe it's clarity, openness, confidence, maybe trust. Just feel that within yourself. Even if you don't know how to access those states yet, just imagine how your body would feel if you could. That ease, that lightness, that stillness that comes with deep knowing. Now give that feeling a shape. What shape holds your clarity? Notice any colors. What sensation is moving in the body? Just let it gently expand within you. Now bring to mind an animal or a plant that carries the essence of this feeling. Don't judge what shows up, it might surprise you. Just receive. And while you're in this feeling, imagine yourself suddenly holding a delicious food or a delicious beverage that smells so good. It tastes so good and you feel so good. And consume it. Let yourself have some of it now. Take a sip or a bite. Just feel your whole body saying yes. And are there any words associated with this feeling? Pleasure, grounding, nourishment. Okay, so now what I want you to do is go back to your block. Don't feel it, don't identify it, but just see that shape. See the shape and color of the block in your hands, cupped in front of your heart. Kind of like making a prayer hands, but cupped inside is this shape. And you're holding it with loving awareness. And as you're holding it, watch it begin to dissolve. Maybe it melts. Maybe it melts like ice. Maybe it might crumble like sand. or a sugar cube. Maybe it evaporates like steam. Just let it go. As you do this and feel this, you're letting your subconscious mind know to inform your conscious mind, your human ego mind, that part of you that controls the filter, that you're actually totally safe to be in a frequency of clarity, in a frequency of openness and confidence. That this block was only ever a protective part of you, and it served its time. And now it's lovingly released. What once was a message of self-protection, simply an illusion, has now dissolved. Now feel yourself relaxing in the perfect chair. Outside, if you're a sun lover, maybe in the warm sun, maybe in a shady nook with a breeze on your skin. You're so comfortable. You're fully at ease here. And you look over and someone is bringing you the exact food or the exact drink that you were enjoying before. They hand it to you while you're in the chair and you take a sip or take a bite. Just let that exquisite flavor and sensation be felt. The pleasure pathways within you light up. That pleasure awakens something inside you, where you're alive, you're receptive, you're grounded. And to your right, you notice your animal or plant nearby. It's with you now. Perhaps it has a message for you. Let's take a moment here to receive it. And now feel this feeling of clarity, confidence, and openness pulse through your whole body, your whole cells, vibrating at this frequency, letting the color, the shape, and the texture of it fill your entire body. Let it expand into every cell, every energy pathway. Let it fill your whole being and your whole body. This is your truth. Take one last breath in. And as you exhale, gently come back to your body, to the space. I want you to wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch your body up and down. invite you to place your hands up over your eyes. Gently blink your eyes open, adjusting to the light around you. And when you're ready, you can peel your hands away, coming back into the space, back into the room, back into the present moment with me. And just look around the room and orient yourself back into the room as well. That just helps create safety within your body. Have a drink of water. Even if you just need to rest for a moment, just allowing your body just to adjust. And just know that you can always return to this process anytime like a block arises. Because your clarity is always just beneath the surface and you're always so safe to reclaim it. And when you let yourself like connect with that feeling of clarity, like it brings that expansive openness into your field on the other side, and it's really powerful. How's everyone feeling? Good? Nice. Well done. Well done. It's interesting as that kind of is like coming through. It's like we don't need to specifically clear the intention of that energy, but we needed to see it in a different way. So seeing it in a shape and then feeling it that way was what was needed. And I like that because that's something that I might actually cut out and pull out. So if there's any blocks that you have in the future, that you can just listen to that specific audio too. So it can relate to any block that you might be experiencing. You just need to identify it at the beginning and set that intention, and then it can start to come through. Cool. Let you all come back into the space with me, but I just wanted to talk about some tools for support before we kind of like even get into like next week's stuff, because I really kind of wanted to bring that into the field. Crystals are really supportive while reading. Black tourmaline, a really rough piece. It's just supporting, like I'm just talking about tools that can really support your field that you're working in. What you can kind of do is like think of them as there to support your nervous system and that soul space that you're creating. And so crystals for grounding and energy protection. Black tourmaline is for grounding and energetic protection. I use this occasionally. Very in the early days, I had it, and I'd actually put it right in front of me, or I'd keep it in my pocket if I was doing a person like a reading. But it was just energetic protection. Selenite is a huge one. I still use that. It is amazing to help clear your field. It helps you enhance that channel, that purity to connect. Yeah, selenite has been really, really powerful in the way that I've worked in the Akashic field. The other one that came through was labradorite as well. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's like to really strengthen intuitive vision and energetic boundaries. I found that was really support. Yes. Is that how you pronounce it, Tanya? Yeah, cool. That's beautiful. Oh, can you flip it on the other around? What was on the other side of that? Did it have? Oh, it's just like, yeah, it looks beautiful in the light, that side. Yeah. Do you use that a lot in your work?
Yeah. If I move you can see all of the crystals
Yeah, amazing.
that I use. And then like when you said selenite, that sits beside me if anyone needs to know what a selenite looks like.
Yeah.
And then black tourmaline,
Ken's got that too. Oh wow, that's a big piece.
like a rough.
She's
That's,
beautiful. Yeah, very
yeah, a rough one.
A rough one. Yeah, I had to get the rough one as well. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to. I'm just saying that some of the crystals, like when you hold them, you know, during your reading, or you keep them nearby as like a touch point, they can be like really supportive as well, because just even the formation of crystals is quite, yeah, quite, what's the word? Impressive. Like the crystalline makeup of them is, what am I trying to say? Sorry, I'm still probably coming out of the out of the little even though I was hosting it. Sorry, their composition, like, you know, they've got such, you know, they've obviously got different minerals and chemical structures, but you know, obviously the metaphysical properties as well. But yeah, they just, I just wanted to bring them in because I noticed that when I had that, when I was working in the Akasha, it helped me, you know, ground and anchor a few things as well. Obviously creating a ritual space, I don't need to go into that because we went into that ages ago, but I just wanted to mention that, like energetic hygiene, it really matters, especially when you're working with clients or entering and exiting the records regularly. You know, even lighting a candle is something to kind of mark the opening and closing of the field as well. Tanya, you've got that, like, you know, visualization, sound, like even like a bell or a bowl or a gentle kind of playlist to shift the frequency can, you know, really support your body to recognize that this is the ritual and this is the space that we're going to, and this is the entry point that we're going into. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, like, you can pull a card before or after a session as well. And you can always set an intention for what you want to come through. I have my Akashic Records Oracle deck that I'm going to gift you all to and have access. They're only online, and bear with me, they're very they're not proper cards, but all the information's in there. All the there's 44 cards, and the images all align and the messages all align, but they're just, it's like it's in a PDF document, so it's really powerful. So some of the messages that come through, and the reason why they're powerful is because when I channeled them, they came through from specifically from the Akashic Records. So yeah, I feel like there's lots of different beings that wanted to come through and share messages. So I will share that in our portal as well. So if there's something that you want to do, I know a lot of people love pulling cards before or after a session. And even just to reflect and integrate some of the guidance that's received. Like, I even find sometimes pulling a card after is really supportive. It just brings focus and resonance to either the beginning or closing of your work too. So yeah, so if you feel up to it, an integration practice, if you could, like, just consider this little invitation for the week ahead, and it isn't required, but if you feel called to deepen your clarity and strengthen your channel, these practices will just really help anchor the work that we've done today. And the first is just to choose like one simple kind of energetic practice to do daily this week. And so this could be breath work in the morning. It could be a crystal ritual. It could even just be taking 2 minutes to say your record opening prayer and keep it simple. So just let it be something that you want to do, not something that feels like a chore or ticking a box or anything like that. Second, you know, if you have a Oracle deck, if you want to use the deck that I'm going to share with you, you could just start your day just by pulling a card, and you don't have to analyze it, just feel into it, write down any themes or symbols that kind of come up and show up. And by the end of the week, you might actually start to kind of see like some patterns or messages that you didn't kind of notice at first as well. Yeah, and if you wanted to clear, like have a, like pick one of the blocks that we talked about today and clear it again, like, what I'll do is I'll pull out the audio so you can have that to listen to. So you could just walk yourself through the practice again and just notice what shifts. And it's just about practicing what we've learned, and where we can do it gently and consistently and with love, then things start to really shift in our field as well. And just the more that you show up for your energy, the more clarity will show up for you too as well. So next week we're going to talk about timelines, ancestral patterns, soul lessons. So we're going to explore how to work with past lives, ancestral imprints, karmic cycles, and soul contracts inside the Akashic records. So you'll start to see how certain kind of like challenges that you're facing, or that you might be not aware of, may have kind of like begun in this lifetime, and they might be inherited, they might be from another life, or tied to like a soul lesson that your higher self wants you to understand that you chose this, and it needs to be recognized or let go. So I think the beauty is that you don't need to carry them any longer, and when you get to explore how to track these patterns in the records, what to ask, and how to begin clearing the energy that's maybe outdated or heavy or just not yours, it's really powerful, and it brings you so much liberation, and I can't wait to share it with you. So thank you all so very much. And we're on time this week. I'm so proud of myself. I set the intention. I was like, I'm gonna be on time this week. I'm gonna finish on time. I'm not gonna go over. So yeah, if you all want to unmute, if you want to say anything that came on to you or come up for you, but I just want to say thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers. Amazing. I'll see you soon. I'll see you in the Voxer.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Lots of love to you all.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.